What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged Review, and I'm going to review WWE SmackDown Live for 122.19. And honestly, there was not a lot to this show as far as content, but the content they had was very good. And that's a distinction that I think needs to be made. You don't necessarily have to fill a show with a bunch of stuff if that stuff sucks. And this is a great example of getting down to, you know what, let's hit the basics, let's kick out some good promos, let's kick out some good matches, and it worked well. And you started off with Becky Lynch. She's cutting an in-ring promo, gets interrupted by Asuka, who gets interrupted by Charlotte Flair. And so Charlotte Flair, she's jaw-jacking. Asuka's finally tired of the talking, hits Becky Lynch from behind. That starts a fight between Asuka and Becky. Kind of goes all over the place, goes over the announce table, goes into the back. And it was a really good setup for these, I think. This is your go-home show for Royal Rumble, and it really sets up that match. So I really liked the way they started it out. The first actual match, I was actually a little trepidatious about. I was like, I don't know if this is the way they should start it. And it was Naomi versus Mandy Rose, with Sonya Deville, of course, in her corner. And I gotta say that I really liked it. Naomi is crazy athletic, we all know that, but I really do like Mandy Rose too. And it's funny because when I first saw her, I mean, I go back to, so many of the blondes with big boobs that have zero talent that has come through this industry, and she's not one of those. She is actually a worthy, part of the roster, I think. She really holds her own in the ring. And one thing I liked about this match is for a couple of women to get in there, it was super aggressive. It actually looked like a fight at points. Naomi going in with the punches hardcore right off the bat. Mandy Rose with a really hard knee into Naomi off the apron. I mean, it just looked good. At the end of the day, Sonya Deville, of course, she gets her hands on Naomi because of the distraction. Mandy Rose winds up capitalizing and gets the win, which is what I think they should have done. Then you get The Miz and Shane O'Mac. They get a real quick backstage promo, and they're talking about Miz taking on Cesaro instead of Sheamus this time. And so it's Miz versus Cesaro. Decent match for what it was. Cesaro, again, coming in super aggressive. And this match had a lot of points where Sheamus and Shane O'Mac would get involved outside of the ring. And aggression, it's a theme so far, as you can tell. Shane O'Mac was super aggressive outside the ring, fighting Sheamus, fighting Cesaro. There was a lot of turmoil. It all came down to Cesaro winds up getting the win. Sheamus hit The Miz when he was kind of draped over the ropes. Cesaro hits the neutralizer, capitalizes, and then they just kind of decimate The Miz and Shane McMahon. They put The Miz on the announce table. They powerbomb Shane McMahon through The Miz, through the table. Really good spots. It really looked good. And then you get a really good Mustafa Ali promo. It looked like he was actually outside in Chicago. And I was actually surprised at how good the promo was. I mean, I haven't really paid attention to his promos. I didn't watch 205 that much. So the guy's a natural. Some people, when they get in front of a camera behind a microphone, it feels very forced or rehearsed, or, you can tell it's scripted. When you see Mustafa Ali, it just feels very natural for him, which comes across great, I think. Vince McMahon comes to the ring next. He introduces AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan doesn't want to come to the ring because he's disgusted by AJ Styles. They start this back and forth about why they're going to win a Royal Rumble. And Vince McMahon keeps telling Daniel Bryan to get in the ring. AJ says, you know what, we don't have to do it face-to-face in the ring. I'll go out the ring. And so the fight ensues there. And again, another really aggressive fight. Looked really good. So, I mean, everybody's just super selling today, which was great. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. Backstage, after that, you get Carmella and R-Truth. They're doing this promo about, being number 30 in the Royal Rumble. And then Carmella and Truth go separate ways, and Carmella runs into Charlotte Flair, who I think Charlotte Flair is pretty good promos too. And she, she says, I've run this division for the last 4 years, and it doesn't matter what spot you have, I'm the Storm, basically. Then you get Samoa Joe versus Mustafa Ali. Samoa Joe attacked Mustafa last week, so now Mustafa's out for revenge. It was a really good match, I think. Samoa Joe, he's excellent on a mic. He's excellent in a ring. Like, everything the guy does is just great most of the time. So, good match. Really sets a good tone. Samoa Joe gets the win, which I was kind of surprised. Mustafa Ali, he came in, he had a couple of big wins. And then he had a loss last week, and I'm like, well, not last week, but the week before, and then last week he just got jumped. So I was really surprised. I figured that they would use Samoa Joe as a kind of catapult to push Mustafa. But no, Samoa Joe hit the brakes on that. Which is fine, because the dude looks like an absolute destroyer. And that's one thing about Samoa Joe, is he looks like a legitimate fighter. And a lot of the moves he does looks like legitimate fighting. So, very cool. Backstage, you get a New Day bit where they're being interviewed, and it's the same interview you always hear about the New Day at Royal Rumble. Only one guy can win, so, what does that mean? And they're in unison. So, not much of a promo there. After that, you get a rematch from last week, which was Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas, and I said last week that was the match of the week. And I believe it's the same thing this week. Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas, 2 out of 3 falls. These guys are just gold together. They can innovate like very few people I've seen, and it's very cool. They can innovate like very few people I've seen, and it's very cool because, honestly, Rey Mysterio, to be over 40, he's been doing this for over 30 years, I think, and he just kills it. Like, he is still setting the standard. So that says something. So you've got Andrade Cien Almas. These guys had some amazing spots. Like, this whole match was amazing spots. But there was a couple of really cool ones. Andrade Cien Almas gets Rey Mysterio up on his shoulders, and he literally stands up on the top turnbuckle with Rey Mysterio on his shoulders and does a sit-down powerbomb. Gets the first pinfall. Rey Mysterio does this like backward Hurricane Rana, gets a second pinfall. And then it looks like Rey Mysterio is going to get the third pinfall. Samoa Joe comes in, attacks both Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas, and he starts doing a promo talking about, I said I came here for destruction or something like that, I don't know. He says, my name's Samoa Joe, and then out of nowhere Randy Orton comes in with an RKO. And that's where they leave off, is Randy Orton, all geeked up. I'm not entirely sure about how I liked the finish. I would have liked to have seen an actual finish to that match and then maybe the attack afterward. But, that's small stuff. It was a really good match to end the show. Like, it really was. There were so many great spots there. So, really good way to kick it off. Cesaro Sheamus looked really good with The Miz and Shane O'Mac. That was really good. I like the Samoa Joe Mustafa Ali match. I like the Naomi Mandy Rose match. Like, really, there was no wasted motion in this show. And that's how it's supposed to be. Monday Night Raw has just sucked, and has sucked for quite a while. SmackDown, on the other hand, has been very, very good. It's looked legit. They've tried to sell it as something legit. And a lot of the promos were really good too. Like I said, that Mustafa Ali promo I thought was really good. So I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10, I think, because it was just a really strong outing. So that's where I'm at. I think they really killed it this time. Hats off to them, and that's where it is. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwoods. Kaged Nation, out.